Morning, my all dear students. I am Jerry Wheeler and I am going to teach you macroeconomics for class 12th. And today we are going to learn chapter 3 measurement of national income. So let's start our new chapter, that is measurement of national income. So till now we have done our introduction of macroeconomics, then circular flow of income, then you can say basic aggregates of national income, and now we're talking about measurement of national income. So till now we have learned about how to convert. In our last video we have learned how to convert gross into net, net into gross, how to convert market price to factor cost to market price, and we have learned how to convert domestic to national or national to domestic. So those were the basic formulas which will help in this chapter to us to find out the national income. So let's start. So first start with the national income only. What is national income? National income refers to the factor income. Now what is factor income? Factor income is the income which comes in return of, you can say in return of factor services. When we are giving our factor services, then we are getting factor income. Now what is factor services? Land, labor, capital, entrepreneur, these all are called factor services. So national income refers to the factor income earned by normal residents. I hope now you understand the meaning of normal residents, because already we have discussed this topic, of a country as a reward of their productive services in the given year. So in the financial year, what services they are giving? Factor services. For that return they are getting their factor income. So if we add all those incomes, so what we will get? National income. Now the national income of the country can be calculated by using three methods. So in order to find out the national income or to calculate national income, there are three methods. First method is called value added method, which is also called product method. Second coming income method, and third is coming expenditure method. Okay, so there are three methods in order to find out the national income. Now we have to learn all these three methods. It's not like that we can learn any three and we can apply any three. Out of these three we can apply any one in exam. It's not like that, because in order to apply the methods is dependency of methods depends on the items given in the questions. After observing the item which is given in the question, then only we can decide that whether we should apply this method or that method. So all the above three methods give the same value of national income. Apply any method, we will get the same answer. Okay, after applying either value added method or income method or expenditure method, we will get the same answer in all three cases. Okay, now the questions come, who calculate this national income in the country? So if we talk about our countries, in our country India, CSO, Central Statistical Organization, learn this full form, Central Statistical Organization, estimate the national income since when? Since 1955. Who? CSO. It can come at the in 1 marks question. Okay, so learn this one. Now domestic income, we are talking about domestic income now. So in a previous video we have learned that domestic income, if we add an FIA, net factor income from abroad, in domestic income, so what it becomes? National income. So you can see this one, domestic income plus an FIA equals to national income. This thing we have learned in our previous video. Okay, when we are converting domestic to national, how we are converting domestic to national? By adding an FIA, which means net factor income from abroad. The short form of domestic income you can say NDP at FC, where N means net, D means domestic, P means product at factor cost, plus an FIA. Whenever we are talking about income, so remember that it is coming in this one form, NP. This can be N also, and P at FC. When we are writing D, it means domestic income. When we are writing N like this, N, see this N, then it becomes national income. It always comes in FC only, at factor cost only. Okay, so domestic income plus NFIA equals to NNP at FC, which is also known as national income. So what is national income? NNPFC. What is domestic income? NDPFC. Remember this. Okay, domestic income NDP at FC and national income NNP at FC. So let's start with our first method, that is value added method, which is also known as product method. So this method is used to measure national income in different phases of production in circular flow. So every enterprise add to the value of the product which it purchases as intermediate goods, and that value is added is known as the value added at market, gross value added at market price, GVA at MT. Now what happened? These all things gone from above our head. So let's learn this with the help of an example. Okay, just look at here. Value added method. We're talking about value added method, which is also called product method. So after applying value added method, what we will get? We will get GVA at MP. What is this GVA at MP? Gross, V for value, A for added, at market price, or you can say GDP. These are same thing only. Okay, either you can say GVA at MP or you can say GDP at MP. These both are same thing only. Okay, so gross domestic product at market price after putting this method, value added method. So the question comes, how we can put this one? This formula is there, this one we put afterwards. First learn this one. We can take example. There is a bakery shopkeeper. Who is there? There is a bakery shopkeeper who is converting flour into bread. What is doing? He is converting flour into bread. Flour into bread. It means he is selling what? Bread as a final good. What he is selling? He is selling bread as a final good. Okay, so in order to make bread, he will use raw material. So which type of raw material he is using? He is using raw material what? Flour. Flour as a raw material. Okay, in order to make bread, he is using flour as a raw material. So first he purchased their raw material, that is flour, from maybe whole market or wholesaler, you can say, at rupees how much? Rupees 50. At how much rupees he has purchased flour? At rupees 50. Then after doing some work on this, he has converted this flour into bread. He converted this flour into bread. Okay, now when he is going to sell this bread in market to the final consumer, because it is a final product, so when he is going to sell it into the market, so at which price he will sell this bread? Definitely he is not going to sell this bread at rupees 50, because already flour he has purchased at rupees 50 only. So he is selling this product, that is bread, at market at rupees how much? At rupees 70. How much he is selling the product at in market? At rupees 70. So how much value he has added in this bread? How much value he is added in this flour to sell the final good as a bread? Just check. 50 becomes 70. So how much he has added? 70 minus 50 you can do. It comes rupees 20. So it means the bakery shopkeeper added 20 rupees in flour to sell it in a market as a bread. Okay. So here how much rupees added? 20 rupees. So when we are solving the national income questions, that time there is not only one phase where we have seen that bakery shopkeeper is there. There are many phases there in which wholesaler, retailer, and many more are coming. So we are adding the all phases value added. How much we have added the value in each phase? We are adding all those values. So we are getting the gross value added. Okay, here we get only value added because it is only one item we're talking about. There we are getting gross value added only. Okay, so let's come to this definition again. What is that? This method is used to measure national income in different phases of production. As we have seen the production phase. Okay, he's doing the production of bread. First he purchases the flour. So phase of production in circular flow. Every enterprise adds to the value of the product. हर enterprise से करता है यहाँ पर value में कुछ न कुछ value add करता है. Like see here in 50 rupees he is added rupees 20. Okay, then which it purchased as intermediate goods, whom he has purchased as a intermediate goods. In which value he is added? He is adding in the value which he has purchased as a intermediate goods. Here what is the intermediate good? Raw material, flour. Okay, so in that flour cost he has added rupees 20. Okay, so which it purchased as a intermediate goods. The value that is added, and that value which is added is known as gross value added at market price, GVA at MP. And remember this thing, this method is also known as product method, as you have learned earlier, and inventory method also, and we are calling it as a net output method also, and we are calling it industrial origin method, and we are calling it commonly service method also. So these are many names which are given for the value added method. So if suppose that it come in question in 1 marks question, or maybe in numerical question in exam, they are asking that find the national income by community service method. So don't be confused that time. It means they are asking about value added method only. Okay, now question arises that how to find the national income through this value added method. So we have learned what is value added method with the example. Now the formula for value added method is what? Value of output minus intermediate consumption. As this word you have seen here also, intermediate consumption. It means that expenditure which we have done on raw materials. Okay, that is called intermediate consumption. So value added equals to what? Value of output. Value of output means sales. What is value of output means? Sales. Okay, so from sale what we subtract? Intermediate consumption. So let's more clear it, as we're talking about value of output method. So in which we are finding GVA at MP, or you can say GDP at MP. How we are finding it? By subtracting intermediate consumption from value of output. Now value added of all the producing enterprise within the domestic territory of a country during a year is equals to GDP at MP, as we have learned already. So we are calling it GVA at MP, gross value added, or we can say GDP at MP. Now value of output equals to what? It refers to the market value of all the goods and services produced by a firm during an accounting year. If the entire output of the year is sold during the year, value of output equals to sales. It means they are saying that I'm a shopkeeper, I purchased some like this pencil. I can take example of this pencil. Okay, I have taken this pencil extra dark. Okay, so I brought this. The cost of one pencil is how much? You can say 10 rupees. What is the cost of one pencil? 10 rupees. So I purchased. So I bought how many pencils? I bought, you can say 50 pencils. How many pencils I bought? 50 pencils. Okay. Now suppose that I bought 50 pencils and within 1 year I have sold all these pencils. How many pencils? 50. All 50 pencils I have sold. So how much rupees I got? The cost of one pencil is how much? 10 rupees. 50 into 10 rupees, 500. This 500 is what is? Sales. What is this 500? It is sales. Now what they are saying, it refers to the market value of all the goods services produced by a firm during an accounting year if the entire output of the year, entire output is how much? The entire output is 50 units. I have 50 pencils. So this is the output. Entire output is sold during the year. If all pencils are sold, all 50 pencils are sold during that 1 year only, so therefore value of output will become only sales, as the value of output becomes how much here? 500 rupees. 15 to 10. So it only will become it sales. In this one, value of output, it becomes only sales. So if when the entire output of the year is sold during the year. But sometime what happens, like I brought 50 pencils here as output and all 50 pencils are sold, but sometime it not happens. Suppose that from out of 50 pencils only 35 pencils sold out, 15 pencils remain in the stock. So what will happen that time? So if some output remains unsold, like 15 pencils unsold here, out of 50 only 35 pencils sold in the market, now 15 pencils remain. So what will happen? So if some output remains unsold, it is added to the firm's inventory stock. It will add into the firm's inventory stock. Now what is inventory stock? You should know, as you are a commerce student, so you have learned in the accounting. It is expressed as change in stock, and how we are expressing it? As the sign. This is the sign of delta, which is known as a change in then stock during the year. In such a situation, what we are doing, the value of output is measured. How we are finding the value of output? We are finding with the value of output as the total of sales during the year plus change in stock during the year. How much sales we have done plus change in stock. How we are finding this one? Sales plus change in stock. If in question it is given that sales and change in stock both are given, so how we will find the value of output? We will add these both, then we will get our value of output. And if the value of output is directly given, then no problem, it is there. We will directly put the value of output minus intermediate consumption and we will get our GDP at MP. But in case if value of output not given, then what is given in the question? Sales plus change in stocks. Then we will add both of these, then we will get our value of output. Okay, now what happens? Suppose that this change in stock is also not given. What is given in the question? It is given in the question closing stock and opening stock. So what we will do? We will subtract the opening stock from closing stock. Then what we will get? Our change in stock. So once we will get our change in stock, then that change in stock we will add in our sales. Then it becomes the value of output. So in this way we can get our value of output. Then comes second, what? Minus intermediate consumption. So what is intermediate consumption? As I told. So now let's learn about intermediate consumption. So what is basically intermediate consumption? It refers to the value of non-factor inputs like raw materials, fuel, power, etc. which are used in the process of production. Or you can say what? It includes the value of the raw materials which are used in the process of production. As we have used here flour. So what is the cost of flour? 50 rupees. So that is the intermediate consumption. So intermediate consumption means the value of raw materials which are used in the process of production. Now what happens? If the intermediate consumption is given with this heading only, there is no problem. We will take the value which is given in intermediate consumption, and we will subtract from the value of output, and then we will get our GVA at MP. But in case if intermediate consumption is not given directly, then what we should do? Then we will search for domestic consumption, because sometimes what they are giving in the question domestic consumption. So when domestic consumption is given, so which formula we will use to find out intermediate consumption? Then we will add imports to the domestic consumption to get our intermediate consumption. As the word is there, consumption. So first, domestic consumption means that whatever expenditure which we are doing in order to which we are doing on raw materials which are made within our country, that is called domestic consumption. The expenditure which we are making on raw materials which are made in our domestic territory. And import means that that when we are suppose that when we are importing some raw materials from other country, okay, whatever the expenditure which we are doing on that is called import. Okay, so domestic consumption plus import, when we add both of them, so what it becomes? Intermediate consumption, in which case when domestic consumption is given. In the same way, when domestic sale is given, remember domestic sale, just we have learned that value of output equals to sales plus change in stock. So suppose if domestic sale is given, what is given in the question? Domestic sale. Then what we will do? We will add domestic sales plus change in stock plus export. Till now we have learned that value of output equals to sales plus change in stock. But in case if these two are given, and with these what is given? Domestic sales also given. So what we will do? We will add exports. Export means that when we have sent our material from here to, when we sold out our material to the other countries. Okay, so what income we will get, that is called export. Okay, so that time we will add domestic sales plus change in stock plus export. Okay, then it becomes value of output. Then we will get our value of output. So from that one we will subtract our intermediate consumption, and we will get our GDP at MP. So in short, you can write like this: value of output equals to what? Sales plus change in stock. What is value of output? Sales plus change in stock. But in case if sales is not given, so what will be given? Domestic sales plus export. We will add both of them, so what we will get? Our sale. Now change in stock. Change in stock means if change in stock is given, then no problem. If change in is not given directly, so what is given? Closing stock and opening stock. Then from closing stock we will subtract opening stock, so we will get our change in stock. It is called value of output. Then intermediate consumption. If it is not given directly, so what they will give? They will give domestic consumption and import. We will add both of them, domestic consumption plus import. So what we will get? Intermediate consumption. So finally we can get our GDP at MP. How? By subtracting intermediate consumption from value of output. So what we will get? Our value added, that is GVA at MP, or you can say GDP at MP. Now learn steps to calculate national income through this value added method. So what are the steps? Just pay attention here. First step, first we put our value added method. By applying that method, we will subtract the intermediate consumption from value of output. So we will get our GVA at MP. What we will get? GVA at MP. The value added of all the given sectors are added up to get the gross value added at market price. By applying the first method, we will get our GVA at MP, or you can GDP at MP. Now second method is what? We have to find what? National income. And this GDP at MP is called what? It is called domestic income. Okay, or you can say NDP at FC. So it is GDP at MP. It is gross domestic product at market price. Till now we didn't get our NNP at FC, because we have learned national income is what? NNP at FC. National income is what? NNP at FC. So we need this one. So what we will do? We will convert this one to this. Now I have explained the conversion of these things with the help of the basic formulas. So we are converting gross to national. So what we will do? We will subtract depreciation, because when converting from gross to net, so we subtract depreciation. Then domestic is there. We are converting domestic to national. So we will add NFIA, net factor income from abroad. At last, market price we are converting to factor cost. So we will subtract minus NIT. So once we get GDP at MP by applying value added method, then we have to convert this one into NNP at FC. Then that is called only our national income. In this way we can find our national income by applying value added method. Now take one more example to learn the value added method. So let's see. There are phases of production. There is a farmer who produce wheat. There is a farmer who produce wheat and sell it to the market at rupees how much? 500. There is a farmer who produce wheat. How he produce wheat? Maybe he has taken some seeds and then he put it on the on the field, and what he done? So he done some hard work and he produced wheat. After producing that wheat, he sold out that wheat to the miller at rupees 700. Now just check. The thing is that what is the consumption, or you can say that expenditure, which is done by this farmer. Right now we are taking it as zero, though you can say that the seeds which are sowing on the field, they are not coming out of free of cost. They are having some value, but right now we are not taking it any value, but we're taking it as zero, so that we can understand the example easily. So we are taking that intermediate consumption, or you can say the expenditure which is done by farmer on intermediate raw materials is zero. Now out of zero he has made how many rupees? 500 rupees. So value added, how much he has added the value? It is value of output, VOA, minus what? Intermediate consumption, which we have learned in that formula. So what comes? 500 rupees. So he added 500 rupees. Now the farmer sold out that wheat to the miller. Now miller purchased that wheat for rupees 500 from the farmer. So for that 500 rupees becomes now intermediate consumption, because that is expenditure which is done by the miller on purchasing the raw material wheat. Why it is raw material for miller? Because miller is from that wheat he is making what? Flour. So he had made that flour from the wheat and sold out to the baker for rupees how much? For rupees 700. So how much rupees he has made? So what we can do? Value of output minus intermediate consumption means 700 minus 500. So he has added how much rupees? 200. Okay. Then comes baker. Now baker, baker is the one who has purchased flour from the miller for rupees how much? 700. Now out of that flour he has made what? Bread, or you can say he has made cake, and he has sold out to the final consumer for rupees how much? 1000. So you can say that this is the final product. Bread, or you can say cake, it is the final product. Okay. So he has sold out to the consumer for rupees how much? 1000. So how much rupees added by the baker? Same formula, value of output minus intermediate consumption. So 1000 minus 700, it becomes 300. Now what is that? You can say value of output method. Value of output method says that how much value we have added in each phase, we have to add all of those so that we can get the gross value added method. Now just check how much value is added in each phase. First phase, farmer, how much value added? 500 rupees. Second phase, miller, how much value added? 200 rupees. Third phase, baker, how much value added? 300. When we add all of these, 500 plus 200 plus 300, 5 plus 2, 7, 7 plus 3, 1000. This is called GVA at MP, or you can say GDP at MP 1000. So out of this GDP at MP, we will convert this GDP at MP into NNP at FC, which is called national income. So I hope it is clear to you now. That's it. That's all for today. Thank you. Last, I want to say be safe and God bless you all.